Okay, hey guys, I hope you are very nice. Welcome to this, your best space for practicing your English skills. Today I'm so happy because I'm going to start this series of podcasts which I'm going to be sharing some aspects of American culture because I love this. And I promise I'll be your favorite teacher. I'm gonna be giving you some context before starting with this. I've been working during the last 4 years as an English teacher, and I've realized that it's not only about that you don't have the enough skills for learning the language, it's but also some cultural components that sometimes avoid people to learn it in the proper way. You don't see why it's important learning English. So that's why today I have here a very special guest. His name is Manuel Rodriguez. Listen to me. He is economist and international negotiator from ICES University with a master's degree in marketing from the same institution. Also holds a master in management from Multiplier Business School in France. Has worked with North American and French airlines, technology and educational companies, as well as financial institutions in the United States. Currently serves as a manager for a nonprofit organization that oversees shelters providing comprehensive care for vulnerable youth or kids in south of Texas. So, Manuel Rodriguez.
Thank you, Felipe. Thank you for having me.
What about you, my friend? Everything is nice?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me tonight.
Okay.
It's my pleasure. Good introduction. I think I didn't even remember that I did all those things. But yeah.
It is like it goes, but it's so good because the first time that you sent it to me, I said, "Oh my God, he's a very professional profile."
I try to keep it simple. Try to cover as much as I could. But yeah, in a nutshell, those are some of the things I've done, and but I'm sure along the interview, we'll cover so many other aspects too.
Okay, now that you're talking about it, how could you introduce yourself for the very first people that is just meeting you? What can you say about yourself?
Well, the first thing, I'm just a regular guy, proud Colombian, proud son of Popayan and Cauca, our state. I kind of tease and I kind of joke around my origins. In Spanish, I say I was nacido y criado en Popayan,
Okay.
malcriado en Cali,
Okay.
enjoying my time here in Santander de Quilichao, and instalado all over the world, wherever I've been able to go and I've been welcome to be at. I've enjoyed it to the full extension.
Perfect. As you heard in my introduction, the idea of this space is try to create bilingual culture by this kind of conversations because I think it's the only way, for example, in my experience that I've been here and people has already started knowing me. So that is a guy from the town that is just starting to get in contact with native people. I mean, in this case, you're not native, but you looks like it, Yeah. So and you have some experience living in the States, so it would be a very good opportunity. So I would like we start by talking a little bit. I mean, you already said where you are from, but I would like you to tell me a little bit about that childhood.
Thank you. Yeah, sure,
Okay.
sure. I agree with you. The importance of not only being bilingual, but bicultural, or even more, if you can do a polycultural immersion, that's even better. The more you learn, the more places you visit, the bigger of a horizon you have, and the bigger set of tools to work. So yeah, I want to say, since I was little, I grew up in a small town like Popayan, in a, I want to say, middle class family. We had both my parents worked, so they try to keep us busy, me and my 5 older siblings. So there was a full house, and they always wanted to keep us entertained within their possibilities. So we were always registered for swimming lessons, for tennis classes, for music lessons, language lessons, particularly English, right? And so I did go to a bilingual school, but it was a French Spanish school.
Okay, okay.
So I did have a little bit of contact with the French language
Okay.
in my early school years. But then, of course, growing up in the '90s, there was this, all this influence from the United States, from the North American culture that would come into Colombia in so many shapes and forms: music, sports, TV, movies, video games, you name it.
Did your parents also talk English?
My parents did. My dad, he had the opportunity when he in the late '70s, when he was specializing in pediatrics. He was already a pediatrician. He did live in Miami for a while. He had a scholarship, and he learned so many things in Jackson Memorial Hospital. He did a fellowship there. But his whole idea from the very beginning was to come back to Popayan and apply all the things that he learned. Try to create the same type of environment, in this case for newborn babies, and the personnel around them, to provide care for them. But he always, since the oldest of my siblings to me, I'm the youngest, he always promoted us to, think big, to go outside, travel abroad as much as we could, learn, listen to music from other cultures with different languages and all these things. So he did. Not only him, my mom too,
Okay, yeah.
supported us to be exposed to English. So since I was little, I knew the importance of it, and with a lot of effort, because again, we don't come from a rich family, but we come from a hardworking family that build their way up. We had the opportunity from my my brothers, my sisters, to travel to the United States and spend some time there after high school. That's the ideal time. You're old enough to understand responsibilities and duties, but you're young enough to absorb so much, because your personality is still building in a way.
But so you told me that you studied in a bilingual school, right? But you told me that they taught you how to speak French. But what exactly moment did you start being interested in English?
Like I said, I was interested in sports all the time, so
Okay.
I would always love to play tennis, to play basketball, and there's a very interesting, influence, I want to say, that I was lucky enough to live in Popayan, where we had TV, satellites, and we had TV stations that would broadcast directly to our TVs, and we would watch NBA games, NFL games directly to our TV. So for me, that was like an eye opening. And we even got music from the real North American MTV channel. So we would listen to music from all these regions right into our home. So that really opened, like, ooh, this is so cool. I wanna understand what these guys are saying. I wanna be able to get involved in a conversation with these kind of guys and these kind of things. So that was my very first contact.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I have something I mean, in this moment, I'm doing the thesis at the university, and for example, in this period of time, I've been researching. I mean, going into this topic, and I realized that the most people don't learn English not because they don't have the enough skills. It's because the culture doesn't tell you that you have to do it. They don't. In psychologist, I call it epistemophilic drive. I'm gonna explain that because it's a
Okay,
psychological.
sounds like a technical term,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like the wish to learn. People don't want to learn it. That's why they create like a border in their minds that it doesn't let them to go and have a very good relationship with American culture because they see it like something that is dangerous for them.
Boring or
Yeah,
tedious. Yeah,
and
I hear you.
and I say dangerous because maybe it can like represent something that is going to destroy their identities, you know.
Oh,
So that's why I wonder, okay, how is the perspective of a person that never has had those borders in their minds, you know?
okay.
Do you think that in some moment of your life you had those things like?
I no, on the contrary, I want to say I understood the importance, and I wanted, I wanted, like I said, I want to be able to dive into those sports, those new things, those new activities, different
Okay.
places. Yes, like I said, from my family, I understood how vital it was for anyone to, have that opportunity. And but it's just once you step in and you see, how your brain actually expands and you start absorbing all this information and you start getting excited, about the things you're able to do, that you forget about those limits or things. Of course, coming back to your research, and I'm sure it has something to do with maybe traumatic experiences or things that
Exactly.
geopolitical, socioeconomical hardships that people go through, and then we build those walls to try to protect ourselves,
Exactly.
consciously or unconsciously. But no, for me and for my generation in general, we wanted to get out and understanding a language, getting immersed into a different culture. Like I said, easier for us to the North American one because we had so much of it ready available for us.
Okay.
We wanted to jump in right away.
Okay.
And I did, as soon as like I said, I was able to watch NBA games with Michael Jordan at his prime, playing in Madison Square Garden, and I'm listening to the commentator live and to him even playing or talking to the other players and to the benches and things right there. I'm like, I want to be there.
Yeah, yeah. And at what age do you think you start getting the enough level, English level, to stay in that environment of speakers, native speakers?
Look, one thing that I've experienced myself
Yeah.
and throughout, I've also had the experience or the privilege to teach the language like you have for the past handful of years. Once you find that interest, that passion that ignites, that little spark that ignites that interest in learning, whatever you feel passionate about. In my case, it was sports, it was music, and I wanted to be part of it. It's like that flame never stops. It's like you flick a lighter onto a dry haystack. It's gonna light up.
Exactly.
Right?
And
That's where you want to go.
And actually, that's the concept that I just told you, the epistemophilic drive. And this podcast started with that. I mean, with that feeling, because I said, look this. At the university, I'm going to start a project to try to tell the people that they have to do it and try to show different perspective of the language. Because, for example, in Santander, we have a pretty poor mindset. Because just as you said at the beginning of your speech, there are so traumatic experiences at schools. The teachers represent the face of the language. I mean, even though sometimes the teachers here in Santander, they're not pretty good, they represent. So when the subject has a bad face, you're not gonna learn. You're not gonna buy it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I get it. And honest truth, I told you I studied in a bilingual French Spanish school. But like I said, I got to my teenage years. I started
Okay.
watching TV, listening to music in English, reading books and magazines that were becoming kind of easily available. Not readily available, but we could get them if we wanted.
Okay.
Um, but I think what really pushed me, um, I had one teacher
Okay.
in. I was in 10th grade. I
Okay.
was already a junior in high school,
Okay.
and we had the traditional teachers that would come in with a textbook and would have us fill pages, complete grammar exercises, which, it's okay. But you don't really get ingrained into that unless you're a bookworm. That's all you want to do. But you want to see how is this going to help me?
Okay. Yeah.
How am I going to actually use or apply this?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Like I said, I loved music and I loved understanding what the meaning of the lyrics were. Is this a good song for me to sing
Okay.
to a lady that I'm maybe falling in love with? I would like to fall in love with, that kind of thing. This teacher had us listen to a song from the group, the Police, which later the main vocalist was Sting.
Okay.
Shape the Shape of My Heart.
Okay.
It's a big hit. I think
I
it's.
never heard it.
I'm sure at some point you have, or you've watched a movie where they
Okay. Yeah.
played it. Shape of My Heart.
Okay.
And I remember it because my sisters would listen to it, and it was a beautiful song, but I couldn't really understand the lyrics, especially because it was British English. It's harder
Yes.
sometimes, the accent or how they pronounce certain words and things. But we listened to that song, I want to say a handful of times, 5 or 6 times during that class or the 2 hour period that we had.
Okay.
And I was truly able to really grasp. She had the classical exercise with she would leave empty spaces, blank spaces for us to fill in, or she would provide some words, which do you think would go here and there. And I did a pretty good job just by listening. Again, you want to use your advantages and what skills God blesses you with. I'm pretty good with my hearing, so listening, it's one of those things that I can truly do. And I did, and she was actually amazed that I did a pretty good job. And I told her, look, I think in these 2 hour sessions I've learned more English than I did in all the previous typical classes that I had. And I could see that smile on her face, and her
Okay.
face lit up.
So-
I
so-
made her day just by, but I was being honest.
Yeah,
Right?
I think you were a talented boy. Anyway, when you finished your high school, did you have already a good English level to hold conversations?
I want to say yes,
Okay.
because again, for the last 6 months or so after I graduated and before I had the chance to travel to the United States
Okay.
for the first time, it was the first time I traveled abroad,
Okay.
outside of Colombia. I would watch NBA games all the time. I would watch tennis matches commentated in English, right? I would listen to MTV rap music, house music, rock music, all these new artists, different sounds that were interesting to me, even though, of course, I was living in Colombia. I would learn how to dance salsa and how to listen to merengue and all these things. But I was embracing, I had no issue being what I am, being raised where I was being
Okay,
raised,
yeah.
but absorbing all these interesting things. Because
Okay.
I think that's the beauty of it. A lot of people may not initially think they're not going to need it, or it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be useful.
Okay.
But trust me, the earlier you grasp it, the easier it comes, the more natural, the more spontaneous it
Mm-hmm.
becomes. So when you create that environment,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
you it doesn't it doesn't feel like a burden, like English, homework. No,
Yeah.
it's like
And
you
uh,
enjoy it.
and you know what I think? Of course, I mean, even though you said that you don't come from a privilege, uh, I mean,
Background
yeah,
or
but anyway, I mean, compared to with Santander's culture,
yeah,
I see some differences.
okay,
For example, in here, if you go to like the average schools, you realize that their English level is not bad. It's perverse. And they're so bad.
no, no,
Is
no. I hear where you're coming from. Trust me. Um, the educational system is to some extent to be blamed. Teachers do what they can with what they got, and it's not a lot.
yeah, exactly.
Um, I've been in that environment myself. Mm, but I think again, it comes easier when it's not, another subject in the list
Mm-hmm.
of subjects they need to obtain a high grade on.
Okay, yeah.
No, you wanna make it fun and make it applicable. And I always tell, if I tell my students when I used to teach too.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so when you finish this lesson or this course, what do you
Mm-hmm.
want to achieve? How do you want to feel? How do you see yourself either, you know, learning a new lesson or being able to express yourself, maybe
Okay.
one idea that you had in mind? Are you able to make progress towards that goal that you're going to be more capable of doing these things?
Okay.
Or is it a specific objective? Sometimes you need the language for a very technical purpose, and that's okay too. I
Mm-hmm.
need it for my work. I need it for a specific test I have for school. That's fine.
Okay.
That's a start.
Yeah.
But hopefully, once you get there and you find that spark that I mentioned before, that
Mm-hmm.
ignites, that passion, man, I love. I hope I don't put him on the spot. Our crew, our cameraman David mentioned, I love extreme sports.
Okay.
Yeah, he's into that. All right, let's take a look at the BMX competitions that are happening right now, or
Okay.
who's the next BMX promise that's gonna, okay. I even I even found out that a Colombian guy won a tournament like 2 days ago in Brussels, Belgium,
Uh-huh.
on BMX. That's something that I'm definitely want to share and talk with my student if he
Uh-huh.
loves that. And trust me, they are going to devour all
Yeah.
the information about it, and they don't even notice it.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I have a couple of things to say. It happens to me because actually I met Manuel because I played tennis. I was working as a hitting partner before in the club, so I met him there. And I love tennis, and I think it was that helped me the most to increase my speaking skills and listening skills too. Because I think that I know more about tennis than any other topic in English. I understand. I hear English, and I hear English, and it is like I would be hearing in Spanish. So it's good. And the other thing, I'm glad that you mentioned that about sometimes not just focusing in one specific purpose. For example, I have many students in this moment, and when they, go for me because they need my help, they tell me I have 8 months because I need to study for this specific test, IELTS test. I don't know, and the only thing that I always tell them is I can help you to improve your speaking skills, and of course, it's gonna help you as an effect of it, it's gonna
Yeah.
help you
It's a
to,
consequence.
yeah,
Hmm.
to in the test. But I mean, if you want to be just in that, with that mindset, you can hire a person that help you with that. But in my personal opinion, I can help you to improve your speaking skills in general.
Okay.
Of course, it's gonna help you, but at the end, it's not my main goal.
Okay.
And I think in that way, when they see it in that way, they start enjoying it. And as you said, when you start enjoying it, it doesn't become in a trouble. It goes with the flow. You go when you start going in, and it's
Yeah.
perfect.
I, in terms of studying for specific tests,
Okay.
IELTS, TOEFL, Michigan, whatever you name, there's plenty of them. Most of them, basically, what they are supposed to grade you on
Okay.
is your ability to express your interests, your passions. How do you support an argument? How do you hold a debate? And whether you're able to reply to a specific question
Okay.
where
Yeah.
the information was provided in the beginning. So all those things are built
Mm-hmm.
by listening and speaking. So in the end, that's what they're grading you on. It can change from biology or chemistry or legal, depending on the subject. But in the end, is the same concept. Is how you're
Okay.
able to uh, elaborate on a topic that you've
Mm-hmm.
been provided information on, or that you are supposed to be an expert on.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you tell them, I'll help you with your listening skills and with your speaking skills, yes, that's what students need to show in order to approve those tests.
Yeah.
But in my experience, the easier way to get there is to push them and motivate them by finding that passion. What is it
Okay.
that they truly, man, it can be, there's just so many things.
Yeah. Of course. Of
We
course.
all have a variety of
Mm-hmm.
topics that may interest you in
I, I,
some
I
degree
have
or
I have
other.
a question, because you just mentioned that you were working as a teacher before, and I I mean at this moment I'm giving some classes to some people that are living in Miami, and you know that in those countries sometimes, even though they're living there, there's a lot of Latin people there that they create cultures, and they prefer to avoid speaking English, and they get together among them, and they learn how to speak it. And for example, I've got an experience with a girl that has been living around 6 years there, and she doesn't know anything. I mean, she works because she needs that, but the vocabulary that she uses, it's pretty
It's pretty
basic.
basic, yeah.
Exactly. So, how can you see that people go to the states, and even though they have the environment, they don't do it? What do you think
Look,
happens?
there could be so many reasons to it, and I used to judge
Okay.
people and be pretty judgmental on that.
Okay.
I wanna be completely honest. But there's people who, the state where I live in Texas, especially southern Texas,
Okay.
not so many generations ago, uh, they were discriminated against if
Okay.
they were heard speaking in Spanish. So
Okay.
they were truly scared and afraid of speaking their language because they would be seen as, oh, you're an immigrant, or maybe you're undocumented, or, they would be labeled wrongfully. And I learned that by living there. And I said, oh, so maybe because I could hear people maybe whispering in Spanish or talking to themselves, but if they were exposed to other people they didn't know, they would switch back to English here and there, and they would kind of feel ashamed that they spoke Spanish, and that would offend me until I learned what they went through,
Mm-hmm.
what their
Yeah.
parents went through,
Mm-hmm.
all those traumatic experiences that I was lucky enough not to have.
Uh-huh.
So, there could be a reason for that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then there's people who, of course, migrate to other countries for a better future. but it's difficult, right? Maybe you start, a new life, and you have to take care of so many aspects. You know, find a job, pay rent, try to make a living, try to survive, and the first place that you find, or if you feel comfortable enough there,
Okay.
who's to blame them? Okay, I feel safe here. I don't need to. Why would I need to go there and expose myself to, start all over or feel belittled by not being able to speak the language? And what I try to tell them, you know, when you have the chance, like you
Okay.
and I've had,
Okay.
of teaching and creating a friendlier environment, it's,
Okay.
hey, it's okay to make mistakes here. You're not going to be judged. You're not going to be discriminated against. We're the same. We're equal.
Okay.
I've just had longer exposure and better opportunities. But if you are provided those opportunities and you take advantage of them, you can get to the place where I am, and
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
safe here.
Mm-hmm.
So let them speak. And so they say, oh, I've always wanted to say this. And a lot of times they use this expression. I didn't know what it meant. Oh, now you'd explain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they feel more comfortable. They feel
Yeah.
more confident coming to you. And that's what you want to create, that confidence in them, so they open up.
You know what? I'm a student psychologist, and I have many things in my mind in this moment about that what you just said. And I've in psychologist in therapy in clinic, um, the most important thing are the words, because through the words you can put what is making you feel bad. I mean, it's the origin of that. You can put it, and in that way, you can relieve yourself in some way. So, and sometimes we have some borders because of, maybe, as you said, there are some people who judge us, even in Spanish, and that is something of Colombian culture that I don't know, that I don't like. Sorry. And actually, I was pretty annoying last week because I was playing tennis and I was losing a match, and I got so too angry I couldn't control myself. But then I was like cursing myself, like, damn, what I'm so. I was cursing
Yeah.
Colombian culture. All these borders that I have in my mind are not letting me that I go into a very good tennis level. And yeah, I was telling you about the clinic, and I've been thinking, okay, what about a person that takes English, that a way to express, and in that way, like, it's not his native language,
Hmm.
it's gonna maybe put that I mean, that's what is making him feel bad
Okay.
into English, and in some way, for example, in my personal opinion, I'm not a person who usually say bad words in Spanish,
Okay.
but I do in English.
Well.
But why? Is because I don't feel it in the same way.
Okay.
Maybe it's because with the time I started feeling it, but it's like when you start learning a language, it's not an emotional language. Sometimes the emotion at the beginning,
Okay.
at the beginning is not an emotional language. What do you think about it?
Honestly, well, so you hear the typical saying where, well, if I'm going to say a bad word, I'm just gonna, blow steam out.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it easier, and it's gonna come more natural if I do it in my native language,
Yeah.
and that's understandable to some point. Now you're telling me I even curse or just say these bad words in English. That just tells me that you feel comfortable enough in either language,
Yes.
so you can
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
choose
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's happened to me too, also on the tennis court,
Okay.
where you kick my butt regularly. Thank you for that too.
Today.
Like today, earlier today. But again, where do you feel more comfortable?
Okay.
Sure, if it's a setting where most people are able to understand English, and maybe you're gonna be in a bad spot if you're
Okay.
heard cursing in English. Well, don't do it in English, because it's not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
But if it comes natural and you still do it, that's okay. That just shows, again, that you are in a place, in your mind and in your learning process, that you're comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
That shows progress. That shows confidence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some other people say, yeah, normally the easier and the first words that you learn in an language are the bad words.
Yeah, exactly.
That's okay. That's a start.
Yeah,
At least you're learning something.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's much more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, being able to express what's coming from within. Hopefully, most of it is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's bad stuff because you're going through a rough patch or you're in a difficult spot, we all are at some points in our life, that you're able to express it too.
Yeah.
And like you said, from your I'm not a psychologist, but I've been in places where, yeah, if it helps me, let that out,
Okay.
and just liberate all of those feelings, good, bad, ugly. Do it. If you're able to do it in English, that shows tremendous
It's
progress.
perfect. Actually, now that I'm seeing the way you speak, I have a perfect advice for people that is watching this video. Hopefully. And, in this moment, I've given some classes to some people that they probably is not their English level because they have it and they speak very good. But they are not able to show it because they feel anxiety or they need to think too much. They need to all the time be founding the words in their minds. And what I can see, for example, of here this conversation is what you're saying. You are able to express your feeling, and I see it in your body language. For example, you want to say something and you're showing it with your hands, and then that is a way to express it. But sometimes what people show when they're just learning English is not their speaking skills. What they're showing is like they're gonna talk and their eyes all the time are moving to everywhere, like and they're trying to find.
Is your body speaking?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And you're not communicating what you're trying to say. You're communicating that you're nervous, and for that job, it's not okay.
Yeah, in those cases, what I tell them is, hey, focus on what's the main idea.
Okay.
What do you if you can put it in one line, one sentence, elaborate on that.
Sometimes in one word,
Or one word, sure, why not? And keep it simple.
Okay.
Keep it simple. You don't need to use fancy words if they're not necessary, right? Or unless it's really indispensable that you use that specific term, that specific expression.
Okay.
But if you are at a level or at a conversation where that is required, that is showing me that you should be way past that stage.
Okay.
For those that are learning, I want to say, and I even did this when I was learning. I would look at myself in the mirror, right? And I want to look at the mirror and see a person, in my case, Manuel Felipe, shall be able to say this about Colombia, okay? About my hometown, about my family, okay? Imagine myself in a situation where I want to express something that is important for me, or my job. What do I do? Or the thesis that I'm about to defend, so I can graduate from high school or from university or from my master's or whatever it is. What is that specific message that I need to send across, and build it line by line,
Okay.
right? And do it in an environment, do it in a setting where you feel comfortable.
Okay.
You want to start by feeling comfortable with yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror, and then looking at Felipe or looking at Manuel or looking at your teammates or looking at your boss. You start with your nearby personnel or your nearby people.
Yeah, it's like start identifying yourself as another person. This is the first step. It's a very good first step. If you wanna change your life, you start identifying yourself as a person that you want to be. I want, now that I express, I think that we can start arriving to the last part of the video.
Sure.
I already told you a little bit about the context of of this town about English, and I know because I've been in all of them. Because as I said, I've had at this moment I have had around 150 students.
150.
Yeah,
That's quite a number.
yeah. Because I've taught in schools. We have been some agreements with some schools. They have going to academy. Now I left the academy, but at this moment I'm working as a freelance teacher, and I that's what I'm telling you. This like amounts of people that they really don't know English because it's true. What could you say to those people who don't find or just don't see that the importance of English? What can you say like a message for them?
Well, I mean, nowadays it's not a luxury, it's a necessity,
Yeah.
it's a must. Whether on your professional, intellectual path, whether you want to achieve higher degrees or get to higher levels of education.
Okay.
Needless to say, to find better job opportunities, to even communicate when you travel with people. You know, I one aspect that I love about Colombia and in general, whether I'm part of the, whatever side of the equation I can be part of, is tourism.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you want to have guests, people to come visit and you want to show them the places around, the beautiful scenery that we have. Colombia is such a beautiful country.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that until you've traveled to so many other places that are beautiful too, but then you start to learn and to truly appreciate what we have here. So, or you want to travel to other parts of the world and, hopefully bring all these great lessons that you've learned by living there, by speaking people who have a different mindset, a different perspective on life, on little things, how we all get things done in a different way, different parts of the world, but we're all the same at the same time. So even to be able to be a citizen of the world,
That's what I'm gonna say. Citizen of the world.
English is the easiest path because it is the universal language. Of course, now if you make it to the numbers, and now with all these powers, China and all this, even the Chinese, they understand they need to speak English if they want to travel, they want to leave China and Russia. So it is truly the universal language, and you want to communicate with people from all over the world. English is the place to start, no doubt.
Yeah. As you said, citizens of the world.
Yep.
We are in this moment, we are just people from the town. We wanna increase
You want to
our
expand that
opportunity, yeah.
horizon. You want to open those doors. No, and definitely, look, I'm very lucky. I've had the education I've had, and I'm very privileged. I owe that to my family, and all my sisters, my siblings, my parents, of course. But to be able to be bicultural, to understand, what it feels to be a citizen of an English-speaking country, how they perceive things differently in many aspects of life, family, work. But if you can complement that with what we have as Colombians and as Latin Americans, which is very valuable too, you make yourself a very powerful asset.
Okay.
And that's what learning a new language and learning a new culture brings to the
Okay.
table.
Mr. Manuel, I think I'm so grateful with you. Actually, little story time before going. I was planning to do this. Like he tomorrow he's gonna be traveling to the States, and I had the opportunity to. I mean, I think you tested me to play. I don't know, and I realized that he was here and that he was gonna leave it tomorrow. And I said, Jesus Christ, sir, I need to take advantage of this opportunity for doing it here right now. So he accepted. I know sometimes the things in that way can be difficult, but you accepted. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, I am honored. It's a privilege, and please take advantage of Felipe's experience. He's being able to learn the language and absorb the culture by being here. He has, hopefully, very soon, will be able to take you to the States and to some other places, which I'm sure will happen. But nowadays we have so many advantages. The internet has opened so many possibilities. So now you can create your own world of English learning, of immersing to a different culture in whatever topic interests you. Sports, religion, politics, your job, whatever your profession is, you can create. And with leadership like yours, right, and following that path, people can truly do it. It's about the consistency and being motivated every day.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure.
And I'm gonna be taking advantage of this opportunity too for saying thank you to the foundation Tengo Ganas, because they give us this space. So,
thank you. Wonderful setting. Thank you, Fundación Tengo Ganas. Tengo ganas de volver. I want to come back already.
Okay, muchas gracias.